If you have back pain from herniated or bulging discs, stop all the core exercises until you watch this video. A lot of the exercises you've been given by the people that you trust are actually the worst things that you should be doing if you want to see long-term relief from your back pain. After living in pain for 10 plus years, after a ruptured disc and a degenerative disc diagnosis, I've done all the core exercises and the majority of them are crap. So today I'm going to show you the 7 worst core exercises that you're probably doing and give you the 7 best ones you should do instead. Now we're just going to be talking about core exercises. If you want a full routine best for disc herniations and disc bulges to help reverse the herniation, reduce pain, and get back to normal life, I've got a free routine you can download for you specifically. Go to fitnessforbackpain.com/routine, or in the description underneath this video, there's a link. Just click it, download that guide. I give you the exercises, the reps, the sets, and any modifications you may need to make this simple routine easily doable by you. Again, the link is in the description below. The first exercise you want to stay away from are sit-ups and crunches. These right now for you with a disc herniation or bulge are just going to be more problematic. If you have pain with flexion or you already have a pretty significant sensitivity to anything that has to do with bending over, then the crunches or the sit-up exercise is just going to make the sensitivity worse. What you're going to want to replace that exercise with is what I call a dead bug breathing exercise. To do this exercise, what you want to do is lay flat on your back and put your hips and knees in the 90-90 position. So you're in a traditional dead bug core exercise position. Now from here, we're not really gonna do any kind of moving. What I want you to do is slightly bring your feet out. So you're going to move your feet away from your hips, and what you're gonna feel is your core starting to engage. The further your feet go out, then the more your abs are gonna have to turn on to keep your spine in a neutral position. What you wanna do while you're doing this is while you're gently bracing your core, you just want your feet to come out just enough so your core is braced, but also be focusing on your low back muscles being relaxed. Find that neutral place where your back muscles can kind of just chill and let go, and your abs, your core can kind of do the brunt of the work per se, and focusing on the low back being able to just relax and not be overly contracted. Super important point. Make sure you do it well. The second exercise you want to stay away from are the Russian twists. This is a very traditional exercise that you still see a lot of people in gyms doing today, and this compression and then twisting move when it comes to trying to build core strength is just a disaster for someone who has a lot of sensitivity from a disc bulge or herniation. We want to create stability. We want to create a lowered inflammatory response in the low back, and by twisting, compressing, and flexing and doing all these painful types of positions for the sake of building core strength just isn't worth it to you if you want to see long-term relief. What you're going to do instead is what I call a palif press. Now these are very, very simple. You can do them with bands, you can do them with cable machines. So no matter where you are at in your gym or working out situation, you are able to do this exercise. So take a knee, you're gonna grab your band or you're gonna grab your cable, adjust it so it's around chest height. Put some weight on there, not too much weight. Your hands will be at your chest and you're going to be slowly pushing that cable or that handle away from your chest. If the resistance is correct and you are far enough away from wherever that band or cable is attached to, the further out you go, the more tension, the more work you're gonna feel your core having to do, the further your hand goes away from your chest. From that point, you can hold for 3 to 6 seconds, and then you can come back closer to your chest. Again, as you get closer to your body, it should become easier and easier. The third exercise I wish you would just never do again are those traditional leg raises. There's a lot of different variations of the leg raise. Some people look like they're very good at it. Some people look like they're very not good at it. But key thing here with you with a herniated or bulging disc or any kind of chronic low back pain is to really create a safer place for your low back to continue to heal as you build tolerance back in the tissues, but more so towards resilience as you work towards more and more relief. So instead of doing the leg raise, we're gonna switch to a simple mini march exercise. So it's very similar to like a dead bug, but we're going to be adding a simple mini march action to the lower half. To do that, that, all you have to do is lay on your back on the floor, get into the dead bug position so your hands are kind of pushing straight towards the ceiling. Your hips and your knees are at 90 degrees. And all you're going to do is, once you've gotten your core organized, neutral spine, not flattening too hard into the ground, neutral spine, quick breath out, and you're gonna simply just drop your first heel, right or left leg, towards the floor, and you're gonna tap that heel on the ground and then bring it right back up. Now, some people do better going consecutive back and forth, so there's not a lot of break in between each one. Some people are more sensitive. The transitions cause a little bit of sensitivity or micro movements in their low back, and that hurts right now, which is fine. So for you, what you can do is simply go down, tap that heel, come back up, and then go into the next foot or the next leg after you've brought that foot all the way up. Fourth exercise are the bicycle crunches. Very, very old school exercise. I remember doing these in PE when I was in like middle school and high school. This exercise is just not going to be good for someone with a disc bulge or herniation. Again, going over the reasons why some of these compression and twisting type of exercises cause sensitivity. It's the same pattern. We're trying to stay away from that pattern. So what you want to do instead are what I call heel slides. You're laying flat on your back, your heels are flat on the ground. I would suggest you do them on some kind of like tile floor or a floor that slides easily. I'm wearing shoes in this video here, so it's kind of tough to get the sliding going on. But for you, what you can do is just kick your shoes off, get furniture movers under each foot, and you're going to simply have a gentle brace in your abs. Put your heel into that slider or into the floor, and you're going to slide that heel out with a little bit of pressure on the hips. You're gonna feel exactly what I'm talking about. Once you put that foot down and you apply a little bit of pressure to that pad or that floor with wearing socks, and now you're sliding that foot out fully stretched with the other leg bent, and you're sliding it back. You're going to repeat this for the number of reps that you'd like to do. 8 to 10 reps on each side is fine by me. But essentially what we're trying to do is feel the abs engage, gently slide that leg out, bring it back, and then relax that ab, relax those trunk muscles so that we can get them to let go. This is a simple exercise. If I was gonna build this into a routine, I'd probably start with this exercise since it's a little bit more on the simple side, and then I would build up on difficulty from there. The fifth exercise you wanna stay away from are the Supermans. You have probably seen someone do this in the gym. You have probably done them yourself. The idea here is to build low back strength or endurance in the erectors and all the smaller muscles in the low back, because they're in pain, they're weak, they're tight, so we have to strengthen them, and that's just not the case. Now, what you're gonna do instead of that exercise is the seated hinges. Keep this super simple. Grab a bench, grab a box, whatever you can sit on. You're gonna have your feet pretty wide, your knees are pretty wide, so your legs are open as wide as you feel comfortable. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is activate the posterior chain, all the muscles that make up this area, gently, and then relax them by coming back into a neutral position. So sit on your bench or on your box, and you're going to put your hands behind your head while keeping everything in a nice neutral position. And you're going to lean forward, and you can hold this for seconds. You can do it in reps. It all comes down to the sensitivity level that you have. If you're more sensitive, you have more spasms, more sharpshooting pain, then you may want to do it very gently and doing it in reps. If you're trying to build more endurance, you can do it and hold it for long periods of time, for 30 seconds, a minute, up to 2 minutes. Now, if you wanna make this a little bit harder, then you can move your hands from behind your head and hang them down in between your legs while you are hinging forward. From there, you can then take your arms and go overhead and back down, as you would imagine. And when you do this for yourself, you're gonna realize that as your hands go more and more above your head, it adds more and more tension to the posterior chain. So you want to find that really nice warm spot where you can stop and not create pain. It's okay to be sore. It's okay to have some tension. It's okay to be in the 3 out of 4 out of 10 pain scale, which means you can be slightly uncomfortable while doing it as long as it does not trigger your symptoms. So find that little magical moment for you and stick to that. Be consistent over the next couple of weeks, and it should do you well. The sixth exercise you want to stay away from are the plank hip dips. I see this quite often at the local gym that I go to personally here. The front plank in and of itself, I don't think is a really good exercise for chronic low back pain. I'm not gonna go into that right now, but when you are pairing a front plank with a hip dip, so you're adding in rotation to the low back, it's just a recipe for sensitivity, recipe for too much contraction and pain-provoking type of movements in the low back during this healing phase that you're going through. What I suggest that you do instead are just simple side planks. You can do side planks on your knees only, so the touch points are basically your knees and your forearms, so you're just kind of taking a lot of the load off of your low back and just the full body by cutting everything in half. If you're a little bit more advanced, you can do a full side plank. Make sure you get in and out of the side plank correctly. You kind of want to have a lounging position, but keep your spine neutral. And then when you go into the position, making sure that your spine is in that neutral position, not just kind of flopping around or allowing your midsection to sag while you're resting between sets, or sagging and lifting up into that side plank. It can be problematic for people who have sensitivities at this point. So for now, while you are sensitive, trying to build strength, favor comfort, favor a safe way of getting in and out of these exercises, but you really can't mess up a side plank. Again, you can start them on your knees or do full-blown side planks. Just pick one that fits you best. The final worst core exercise you can be doing are the oblique side bends. Very, very, very traditional exercise. You still see a lot of people doing it today, and they're not a bad exercise, but for people who have herniations, bulges, chronic low back pain, this repetitive type of movement for you right now just isn't the best approach that you take with exercise. So what I would suggest that you do instead are static suitcase carries. So what I mean by static is just means you're in a neutral position and you're walking. You could be standing in one position if you'd like, but you're walking in a neutral upright position. Now the suitcase versus farmer's carries, there is a slight difference. Farmer's carries, the way that I teach them, are you're holding two dumbbells in your hand and you're walking, so the weight is evenly distributed across both sides of your body. The suitcase carry, you typically only carry one suitcase at a time, so you'll have the weight in one side, on one side of the body. So you're doing the same movement, you're walking slow. If you watch me here, I'm taking my time, having more of a higher knee approach to this walking exercise, because it's not about speed, it's not about how heavy you're going, it's about the quality of everything. How well are you stacked? How neutral are you? How much is your core engaged? Is your low back engaged? Overly engaged, where your core is just kind of like hanging out doing nothing? Really think about the way your body is responding to this exercise, okay? Make sure you're comfortable, make sure it's not a symptom-causing situation, and you should be good to go. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. If you are dealing with this personally, the exercises that you're doing give you temporary relief, make you feel good in the moment, but days later, the pain comes back, or the sensitivity or the flare-ups come back, or any type of rehabilitation symptom treatment strategy that you're doing, you've got to take a different approach. And this is what I do with people one-on-one inside of my strength and pain relief accelerator program. This is the most powerful, scientifically backed strategy for overcoming chronic low back pain. So if you've been in pain for a year or more and you are struggling to get traction, despite the years and years of effort, the money that you spent, the time that you've put into your low back, it is still fragile and it is still high maintenance. You've got to take a different approach. If you'd like to hear more about how I do this with people, you want to see a free demo of what I call my hybrid relief method. This is a process that I take people through. You can book a free strategy call with me. You can go to fitnessforbackpain.com/apply. There will also be a link below this video for you to check that out. Grab that time, book that free relief strategy call. I will review your case. I'll see exactly where you are, what you're doing, and what you should be doing to hopefully get lasting relief. It is not a good fit for everybody, but that call with me will be able to confirm that and give you the right steps you should be taking. Thanks for watching. God bless, and I will see you on the next episode.